This is reacting to how broken the college admissions process is by HBO.
After an investigation dubbed Operation Varsity Blues, federal prosecutors today charged 50 people with carrying out a major college admissions scam. The number includes exam administrators, college coaches, and 33 parents, two of whom are actresses Felicity Huffman and Lori Loughlin. Prosecutors allege that parents paid the owner of a purported charity to do things like fake test scores, bribe test administrators to let students cheat on SATs and ACTs, and bribe coaches to name their kids as athletic recruits.
We're not talking about donating a building so that a school's more likely to take your son or daughter.
Well, you guys don't really, I don't think you guys really understand about cheating the college apps process is that you don't need money to do this either. Most colleges, from what I've seen, and you got to keep this on the down low, is that it's based on an honor system. Like what you report with your extracurriculars, you could straight lie through your teeth about what you did on the extracurricular section of your Common App, and there's a pretty good chance that you might be able to get away with it. I'm not saying you should do that. In fact, you shouldn't do that because they do on the rare chance that they do check, then you're screwed, right? But the matter of the fact is that if you can do that without money, right? Then the kids that do have money can, screw even more with the system, right? Like the dude just said, you can get someone else to take the SAT for you. It's really not that hard. You have someone with an ID or whatever, right? You pay them a couple thousand, and boom, you're just in. You just have someone else that knows how to take the test, take it for you, and then you don't have to worry about it ever again.
We're talking about deception and fraud, fake test scores, fake athletic credentials, fake photographs, bribed college officials.
The scandal's an extreme example of the desperation and stress that now surround the college admissions process. A process that only the people in charge of it, admissions officers, really understand.
You are evaluating and letting someone in based on paper.
We're making decisions that could impact kids' futures, not just the 4 years where they go to college, but all the networks that they establish.
You have to try to
50,000, sometimes 60,000 that apply to these top schools. And that's like 2,000, 3,000 that get in. Crazy.
read between the lines and make really good decisions on the information that you're given.
Just because you're a good kid, just because you get exceptional grades and you deserve an acceptance, doesn't mean you're going to get it.
We are not.
So most people need to understand. You definitely deserve to go to an Ivy League or whatever dream school you have. It's just when the system is like this, it's not really much you can do about it.
The old white men frumpy coats with, the arm and elbow patches on our blazers. Very young folks who are excited about their work, who are getting together to make some tough decisions.
You're sitting around a table and you're talking about students one by one, individually. People are advocating, people are critical pieces that might be helpful or maybe not as helpful.
When you're going through thousands of applications, you have to go for the girl from the school that did the thing and the who.
That girl who wants to study public policy, the one who volunteered on Hillary Clinton's campaign.
Here's like the Stuyvesant math team captain.
All admissions officers, we all have personal biases based on how we grew up. I was a public school kid who, had a guidance counselor that didn't even know the colleges on my list. So I was always rooting for that public school kid who didn't have a lot of resources.
Now, this lady went to a public school, so she says that she wants to root for the public school kid. But when you really think about it, right, and you think about the number of people that are actually successful and the number of people that are actually able to make it to these boards, right, typically speaking, what type of people are they? I'm just saying, I'm not saying anything in particular, right, but I'm just saying, there's going to be certain biases towards people with money, right? And we can't just ignore the fact that biases don't exist, right? Even in the hiring practice, you see people that want to hire people that look like them, right? There's proven studies that show that recruiters are more likely to pick people that look like them for a certain job.
I would always advocate for newspaper kids, kids who are interested in sort of making the world and their communities a better place. So all you have to do is, talk about sort of women's rights or student diversity leadership conference. I was all over you, okay?
I had a soft spot for kids who were from poverty. We're people, and we all kind of gravitate.
See, they probably picked the 3 people that had this type of story to say about the kids that they favored. Come on.
Towards our own personal experience.
Neither my parents went to college, and so I will always fight for those kids. I think they face an uphill battle in the selection process.
Applicants who played instruments, if you were a pianist or a violinist, I was all over that.
Growing up as in a really homogenous white affluent town, I really struggled with my self-identity, with being non-white. When a student was applying that might have been marginalized, oftentimes students of color, first-generation students, it was easy for me to advocate for those kids.
And of course, young women, right? Young women and young women of color. I'm just gonna keep it real. Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, in there. I was all over you. So yes, I have a lot of biases. Oh, that.
The last place I read was fairly diverse as far as ethnicity, but I will also let you know there's something called classism in this country. I mean, if someone's...
Really? Wow.
Been to prep schools all their life and they're African American, that's a very different experience as someone in inner city Baltimore.
I very often had to sort of push back against other colleagues' implicit bias. Just because a young...
Why is it so dramatic? What's with the dramatic ass music?
African-American applicant is coming from an affluent background doesn't mean that student is exempt from or has not experienced sort of the systematic racism and discrimination that lots of folks of color in this country face.
Well, it always helps students if family had a lot of financial resources. You were really looking at 7-figure donations, 8-figure donations, but sometimes 6 figures.
Daddy's buildings. Slap your last name on, nice little mural. Nice little classroom building.
Plus, a connection with someone on the board was even more powerful.
Unless we start looking at colleges like businesses, there's really not going to be enough change to
College is a business.
really, really kind of turn the tides and really kind of give underrepresented students a really big platform.
I think a lot of these really, tough to get into places have a lot of devotion to legacy admissions, and it perpetuates these cycles of the haves every year.
It was very sobering to learn that there are so many spots reserved for certain students, whether it is legacy students, whether it is development cases, either their parents.
A third of Harvard's current student body has a parent or 2 parents or grandparents that attended Harvard. A third. 1/3. Harvard's population is what, 6,000-7,000? 2,000? 2.5?
Have already given significant money to the institution or plan to. Once you fill up your class with those institutional priorities, there isn't a whole lot of room left for regular kids who are absolutely extraordinary, but no one is fighting for them.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy.